Hello, everyone. I'm here with TheJoker, right? Launchpad is just around the corner. It's right tomorrow. And, well, with Launchpad coming around pretty soon, it is prediction season. And, well, what better way to start off with predictions of some of our best players in the scene? And, Joker, I'll start by asking you which seven teams out of the list you have do you think you'll make it through Launchpad?
All right, so um, see, this is the issue, right? Because I don't want to seem like I'm a hater for any teams by not including them, but this is just like personal gut feeling and like just a little bit of logic. So first, let's get the obvious ones out of the way, right? So obviously, Modern Magic, pretty stacked roster, right? So those guys are through. Um, I like I like Lions Eat Bears roster. I think they have like a goalie who's shown he can like play really good in John Fortnite. Their brawler recently, did really good at LAN, Lolamau, and Venz, consistent player as well. I think he like won NASA Nasty, I believe. He won Nasty. So that team should get through. Um I think Ember's Flame has like three players just that are all NASA level, like for sure, at least. So I think they'll make it through. Polar Cortex has like arguably like the best midfielder in what's it called in Launchpad right now. Well, other than Forgot, which is A.
Of course.
So I think he'll like be detrimental to that team's success. They'll make it through. So we're at four now. So I got three
Yes.
more, right?
Yep.
All right. I think I'm gonna go with E-Daters with Flop Top Vlad and Color Craze, cause I mean I'm a huge Color Craze fan personally. I think they're also in like the best midfielders in Launchpad with Forgotten A. They're definitely top three. And if you want to like be a successful team, you got to have like a good midfielder, right? So I think Color Craze will show how good they are. And Vlad, I've played against them in solo queue before. They've shown to hold it down. And the question mark with this team is flop top if he lags out or something. But if he's not lagging, then he gets through easy, and he's a great player. So
Agreed.
I got them making it through. Uh, two more, right?
Yep. Two more.
Shoot,
And
dude.
feel free to take your time if you need to.
Okay, wait. I got one more right here.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna just go with Core Dynasty Party, honestly,
Oh
because
yeah.
every time I get Asianator on my team in solo queue now, it's just to win. So I think they've been impressing me. And Swag Haver has shown like uh I haven't seen them too much playing, but I played against them the other day. And Mikila as well. I played against their duo the other day and they actually like did pretty good against me. So I think I'll take them making it through. And ooh, this is tough. I think for my last one, I'm just gonna throw a curveball and say that the team of greatest meme Dragon Claude and the guy that gets Yin and Yang, I think they make it through. Just because I'm a fan. I no other reason other than I'm a fan of that team. I like the way that team looks.
Hey, you're not the only one in that, right? So far Vaughn has also been a great fan of Yin and Yang. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited to see if they make it through as well. But I guess, mentioned the guy that gets, right, one of the players that people really love to watch. Are there any other players you think are probably like standout performers and maybe we should keep an eye on them specifically, even if they're not on these teams?
Okay. So I'll avoid this team because everybody knows about the guy that gets um I like Spartan on Time Thieves, honestly. I think that's a player who's shown like they can like really hold it down really well. I think that team can maybe sneak in depending on how their forward pair plays. But I know Spartan's gonna hold it down and make it really hard for opponents to score on him. I mentioned the color craze earlier. I think if a team with a good midfielder, a midfielder that good, I mean, is competing, I think they just make it through automatically. Even though like people might be sleeping on their forward and goalie, but color craze is next up for sure. Um, I want to see how Vens and John Fortnite play because we know about Lola Mao how they've been performing recently, but we'll see if John Fortnite and Vens can like pop off as well. And somebody I mentioned earlier again as well, Swag Haver. So this person has like kind of like been missing for a while, and they just came back recently. So I want to see if like he can bring back that old magic he had before, and perform well in this Launchpad coming up.
Yeah, Swaghaber is a really good player. And the other thing I will mention, though, is I was talking with Three Debts, right, the sub for that team. And what he said, I believe, is there might be a chance that he has to sub in. Does that
Mm.
change your perceptions of this team at all?
Yeah, it does. I think I've been seeing Swag and Makila duoing a lot. So if 3S comes in, I'm not sure if they'll have the synergy, but I think they should still get it done considering the roster that they have still.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Now, I guess they might be one of the teams that you kind of have in, but there are probably some other teams who might be a little lower ranked who have some sort of upset potential, right? If they play to their highest, maybe they're normally a little less consistent, but they have really high peaks.
Mhm.
Any teams you think that have some really good upset potential and could make it in?
Um, I already have Yin Yang making it in for my sheet, but others will have them underrated, and I'll say them as a team because I think people are gonna try banning out guy that gets his Asher, of course. I mean, that character is really good, and he's like goaded at her. But I actually had a game with him the other day where he actually got his Asher banned, and he picked Juliet, and he was still getting, bro. I'll tell you that much. So I don't think that that'll be an issue if he gets the Asher banned a lot, or I hope it's not at least. And that just leaves Dragonclaw to get their Asher, or not their Asher, their Atlas every game if they want to just target ban Asher from guy that gets. So I think that team can low key upset people because Dragonclaw will have Asher hold it down. That guy that gets will be on like Julie or maybe I don't know if he plays any other forwards to be honest. But if he gets his Julie, then they'll still be chilling because he'll still be performing. And I haven't seen Greatest Meme play, but I hope they can perform well because if that's the question mark. If that person can play really well, because we know what guy that gets in Dragon Cloud can do. If Greatest Meme plays really well, they can actually upset, in my opinion. So
Yeah,
that's one team, and I'll give you another one that I see. Whiplash. So I think Whiplash has a proven like forward player in Coin and like a pretty good midfielder as well in Hungry Boy. Like those guys prove that they're like at least NASA level, right? I think Ayla Lira in the past has been NASA level, but I haven't seen them playing too much recently. So that's a question mark right there. If Ayla Lira shows up to play, that team can easily get in 100%.
yeah, for sure. I mean, any other teams you might have? Because I know there are a lot of teams in this list, and I think overall
Dude,
you've
there's
kind of
so
taken a
many.
look at like 10-ish or so. If I recall correctly, I think Vaughn mentioned the Ball and Ballers, right, and Woe Chills, right. Previous nasty teams. Do you think any of them have a shot at potentially making it to NASA?
Um, I could see Ball and Ballers for sure. Woe Chills, it's like if you look at their players individually, and I mean this is like for question five, I didn't want to like hate on any rosters and say like, oh, these guys are going to underperform, they're not going to make it.
For
But
sure.
like I had Woe Chills as one of those teams, not because I dislike any of the players or like I'm a hater or anything. Because dude, I love those players. I love Cakes. I love ZZ. Taco is a really cool person too. Um, but honestly, like looking at the individual players, like they're skilled enough, but like I'm just thinking in my head, right? Cakes might get target banned with the Juno ban, all right? And Cakes off of Juno, like I haven't seen them like have another character to their Juno's level. And then ZZZ is just gonna pick like Octavia Bella or something. So those guys are just gonna like troll, I feel like, and not make it. That's how I see it, man. But
Yeah, I
I
mean,
love all of them and they're good players.
we don't really have to phrase it as underperformance. It could literally just be a high variance team, which is what Mochos is, right? By
Yeah, yeah,
most people's
exactly.
standards, right? With ZZZ on something like the Octavia Brawler, maybe that's not something of an ideal pick for them. And, well, we'll have to see if that's the case. But as opposed to teams with high variance, do you think there are any teams that'll just go have a straight shot to NASA or a straight shot to NASA that you are 100% confident in?
Not even in Launchpad, like any team.
Well, no, I would say through this launchpad, if there are any teams that you think will 100% make it into NASA or 100% into NASA.
Um, I can say for NASA for sure. So there's no 100% Tenacil in here. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
There's never a 100% Tenacil in um in my opinion at least. Like maybe there's one or two, yeah, but there's
Yeah.
never 100% tenacity in any like of the qualifiers I've ever seen.
Last season, people were very
Because
confident on Bang Bang.
yeah, but this is what I was gonna say, right? Because other than like a few teams, like one or two teams, like for last season, Bang Bang and like my team obviously, but like dude, qualifiers are like this is the beauty of it. They're just so unpredictable, right? Like I literally
Hmm.
other than for this season at least, other than like EKC, and I know we're only talking about the Launchpad teams, but other than EKC, I really don't see anybody making it to NASA like 100%. Like anything can really happen, especially like the liftoff teams I'm looking at and the like landing teams I've seen. Like it looks kind of tough this season to really predict, other than like I said, EKC, just because that roster is just stacked. Um, but as for these launchpad teams, zero of them I think are 100% Nassel, and it's not even on some hater S word. Am I allowed to swear?
I don't think so now.
Okay, but it's not even on some hater energy, bro. Like, it's honestly just because like qualifiers are unpredictable. Like, I can easily say Modern Magic is like over their NASL level, but I can't guarantee them into NASL to as a prediction like 100% because, dude, like, just there's so many rosters. There's four slots and there's all these rosters that look really good. So there's no 100%.
And then you have
As
Liftoff
for
too.
NASA, oh, what are you gonna say?
And then you have Liftoff too, is kind of what I was gonna say.
Yeah, yeah, dude, like it's wild. There's a lot of good rosters for four slots left, so it's tough out here, man. It's tough out here making it to NASL. So going from NASL though to NASA, I think a lot of these rosters are definitely like definitely NASA caliber. Like the seven I mentioned, other than Yin and Yang probably, are all easily rosters I can see playing in NASA next season.
Of course.
As for 100% guarantee, like we never know, right? But like I can just say Modern Magic 100% is at least NASA because they're looking to make NASA and they look good to make NASA, but I don't have them 100% on that, so they're at least 100% NASA then I'd say. And then um stuff the teams like Polar Cortex, Ember's Flame, Lions like those rosters that I mentioned earlier qualify. They're all like pretty much NASA level at least.
Yeah, for sure. And going back once again to the underperformance side of things, right? It's not really underperforming, more so like a high variance types of players. Are there any other teams besides Woe Chills that you think have pretty high variance?
The one I had down was Corpse Control. Um, I think Zach Smack is a great player and they've been impressing me. They're really consistent, but I haven't seen Wee too much off of the Juliet, and I know they have a great Juliet. And
Hmm.
Andy is just like really, really inconsistent as a player as well. And those guys are both like kind of one trick players, like with the Luna and the Julie. So I can see them kind of crashing out as well and just underperforming because like their roster on paper should make it through this launch pad, but I don't have them qualifying just for those reasons. I don't think they got it in them.
Yeah,
I'm not to be a hater, but like I said my reasons earlier, just
that's
like
fair. If not this week, next week, right? There's still going to be some strong teams next week, but that's kind of for us to be discussing a little later. Now I think let's turn our sights away from Launchpad itself and more just the general meta as a whole and kind of what picks we might see. Any characters you think are general pick bans with the current meta and map pool?
um general pick ban. I think at this level of play, it's way more like viable to just ban characters like one tricks and stuff because a lot of these players aren't as flexible, right? But if we're just going in general, definitely the two I'm thinking of in my head are Amy and midfield or goalie. Like she's just looking so strong right now, especially with how the awakenings are in the pool right now.
Mm-hmm.
Anything really works for her, and she'll just end up with a crazy build and with like crazy carry potential. And for forward, I'd say probably like Asher right now. She just seems so strong, man. Like it's crazy. Like I don't have to explain. Like just look at like how many times people are complaining about her, and like that's what that just goes to show how good she is right now.
Yeah, it kind of got flipped on its head, right? For a whole season, everyone was just
Mhm.
kind of giving Zentaro so much hate, and now suddenly it's all just Asher,
Yeah,
Asher, Asher,
the thing
right?
about Asher too is like she's really easy to play. So like
Yeah,
all these brawlers like can just pick her and be effective with her, and it's just very frustrating for like the opponent to play against, right?
Yeah, when you don't have to worry about micro, you can focus fully on the macro, right? And just positioning, striking, right? Don't have to worry about that for the abilities. And that's kind of why I guess Asher is one of the best. But speaking of Asher, right? Just the brawlers as a whole, how would you rank them?
Hmm. Like the characters or the people like
The
playing.
characters, the characters.
I would say the four. I would split them into like, because there's like six, I guess you could say, right? So top four. No, at number one, I'd say it's probably Asher right now, and
Okay.
then I'd have Zen, X, and Rasmus behind, and then Julie, and then Kazan at the end after. I think those four I mentioned with Asher on top are the best brawlers right now
Mm-hmm.
that are like really good to pick, depending on like what your like preferences and stuff, like what's your comfort picks too. And then Julie is like pretty pickable right now, honestly, as well. Even though like it's better to pick one of those four that I said, but Julie can still be effective and it's pretty fun to play too. I've been picking her.
Yeah.
And Kazan's kind of near the bottom. I feel like he's kind of hard to play and be really useful with unless you get like size, which it's in the pool. Like there's a lot of size awakenings in the pool, but like I'd rather just play X or Asher and have all those size awakenings and just like terrorize the enemy, you know? So
Yeah, I
Kazan
mean,
can't really do that. I think the only like person who can like probably pick Kazan at like an NASL game and win with them right now is probably just Drew or something. So yeah, that just goes to
mm-hmm.
show. And then like anybody can play Asher in NASL and just win, right?
Yeah, for sure. Now, I mean, the other thing, right? In terms of the current meta, we've had a bit of a meta shift, right? Coming, like, following the Nassau Grands. How do you feel about like the speed and core control versus damage? Like, where do you feel that balance is right now?
I think there's 7 billion grillion speed awakenings in the game right now. So characters who benefit off of them right now are like seeing more gameplay and more success. Obviously like Kai now and stuff. Um, and then there's characters like Amy and Estelle who are also still really effective and can pick up those dash and speed awakenings too. Uh, and I think it's way more like it's a better winning formula to play for the awakenings in the pool rather than to just lock into a single style. So I think damage can still be effective if the starting awakening like really supports it. But then like they damage can scale off with all these awakenings coming in the drafts. If like the enemy team picks like a speed comp or something and they pick up their speed, they pick up a bit of survivability, and then the game just flips on its head, right? So I think um they should be teams should be playing to like obviously what they're good at, right? But mainly as well try to like maximize the awakening pool to pick characters that benefit from it the most is what I'd say. So yeah, just like kind of speedy stuff like you mentioned. And then like damage can be good sometimes too, right? Like I said.
Yeah,
Just depends on
damage.
awakening.
Yeah, I mean, what happens? You get an ad rush start. You're gonna be playing for that damage, right? It's not much you can do, but on the other side, stagger, swagger, stuff like that, you're not gonna be able to play that damage. You got to focus fully on the core control, the speed, right?
Yeah. And then like stuff like timeless comes in and you just pick Amy
Hey,
and
you
yeah.
think we'll see any runes?
I don't know if any of these guys are rune players. I know like just looking at the list like right away I see Zert who plays rune, but Jay is their midfielder, so
Yeah.
that person will not be picking rune probably. I think Taco has a rune. Maybe we'll see Taco on
Taco's
here.
rune is very good. K22, the substitute goalie for corpse control, is actually a pretty heavy rune player.
Rune
So
goalie, yeah. I've seen
yes.
them playing like Mako, which another character I mentioned. Are we? I should have mentioned in the meta uh, question you asked me earlier. That's a character that's pretty good because she just has speed, right?
Of
But
course.
yeah, I could definitely see K2 picking the rune as well if he subbed in. But yeah, other than him and Taco, I'm not seeing any names on this list that I pull it out honestly. So there you go.
Yeah, of course. Well, with that in mind, right, there is one final question I do have to ask you. Any messages you have for the Launchpad teams that are going to be playing this weekend that you want to give them?
I mean, I don't know, man.
Hey, something general.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, competing. Uh, Damn, dude, I don't know what to say. I'm just grateful that there's a lot of teams competing because it just like it's so nice to see like all these tournaments happening and like the scene's still so active. And it just feels really good that like to be part of this as well. So appreciate y'all just like signing up and competing. Hope you guys have fun this weekend, and good luck to you all.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Joker, for coming on. It was a pleasure talking with you. Pleasure to hear your opinions about the upcoming Launchpad teams, and well, hopefully you'll get to see someone on the other side. All
That's
right,
facts.
take care, everyone. We'll be heading off.